Yeah, namba namba na. Yeah, namba.
You've probably seen them in travel documentaries or glossy safari ads. Tall, graceful warriors draped in red, jumping rhythmically against the African sunset. The Maasai. Instantly recognizable, deeply admired, and often photographed. To many tourists, they represent the heart of African tradition. Proud, fearless, untouched by time. But here's the twist. Much of what you think you know about the Maasai isn't the whole story. Because behind those beautiful beaded necklaces, behind the spears and the famous warrior stance, lies a world that rarely makes it into the tourist brochures. A world full of nuance, humor, resilience, and modern-day challenges. A world where ancient customs meet smartphones, and where young Maasai men are as likely to post on TikTok as they are to herd cattle. You see, what most visitors experience is just the surface, a curated slice of Maasai life often tailored to fit what outsiders expect to see. But the truth? It's far more complex, far more human, and honestly, far more fascinating. So in this video, we're diving beneath the red shuka to explore the real Maasai culture, bust some of the biggest myths, and uncover the truths tourists don't usually get to see. And stay with me till the end, because I'll share one mind-blowing fact about the Maasai that even seasoned travelers have a hard time believing. Trust me, by the time we're done, you'll never look at a Maasai village the same way again. The Maasai are one of the most famous and recognizable ethnic groups in Africa. A Nilotic people whose roots stretch across southern Kenya and northern Tanzania. Numbering around 2 million, they've managed to preserve much of their culture despite living in regions that have seen enormous social and economic change. Their homeland stretches across wide-open savannas, dotted with acacia trees where cattle graze freely and the horizon seems to go on forever. For centuries, this land has shaped who they are. Proud pastoralists, warriors, and custodians of a way of life deeply tied to nature. You can spot a Maasai from a distance, not just because of their height and elegance, but because of their iconic red shuka, the cloth draped around their shoulders, often fluttering dramatically in the wind. The color red, by the way, isn't just for show. It symbolizes strength, bravery, and unity. And the beadwork, it's not random decoration either. Every color and pattern tells a story about the wearer's age, social status, or even marital situation. And yes, those famous jumping dances you've seen, they're real, part of a ceremony called adumu, performed by young warriors to show strength and vitality. But no, they're not training for the Olympics, at least not officially. The Maasai language, Ma, is as melodic as it is ancient, passed down orally through generations. Many Maasai also speak Swahili and even English today, especially those who interact with visitors or live near towns. Yet, what fascinates so many tourists is how the Maasai seem to live in two worlds at once. One foot in ancient tradition, the other stepping carefully into modernity. And that's what makes them so captivating. To the traveler's eye, they appear timeless, a living link to Africa's past. But have you ever wondered what life is really like for the Maasai beyond the photos? To really understand the Maasai, you have to start with what sits at the center of their world: cattle. For generations, cows have been more than just animals to the Maasai. They are life itself. A Maasai man's wealth isn't measured in bank accounts or property deeds, but in how many cattle he owns. Cows provide food, milk, and even social currency. They're given as bride price, used in ceremonies, and considered a gift from God. It's said among the Maasai that without cattle, there is no Maasai. Traditionally, their diet was simple and deeply tied to their herds: milk, meat, and occasionally blood mixed with milk for strength. But times are changing. Today, many Maasai communities have adapted. You'll find ugali, maize porridge, and vegetables on the menu, especially in areas where land for grazing has become limited. And as urbanization grows, younger Maasai men and women are stepping into new roles: working in towns, running businesses, even joining politics and education sectors. Still, the heartbeat of their identity, that connection to cattle, remains strong. And then there's the look, unmistakably Maasai. The bright red shuka isn't just a fashion choice, it's cultural armor. Red represents bravery and is believed to scare off wild animals, which is pretty practical when lions roam your backyard. Other colors, blue for the sky, green for grass, white for purity, all carry meaning. Their beadwork, often made by women, tells entire stories in color. The circular necklaces worn by women, for instance, represent the cycle of life and the strength of community. And yes, the Maasai do love red, but it's not because they're auditioning for a superhero movie. Spiritually, the Maasai believe in Enkai or Ngai, a single androgynous creator associated with the sky, rain, and fertility. To them, Enkai is both nurturing and powerful, providing rain and prosperity, but also capable of wrath when disrespected. The Laibon, or spiritual leader, acts as a bridge between the people and Enkai. He offers blessings, performs rituals, and provides counsel. Think of him as the community's wise counselor and spiritual anchor rolled into one. Life in the Maasai world is also marked by important rites of passage. For boys, circumcision marks the transition into manhood and warriorhood, a moment of pride and courage that defines their readiness to protect the community. It's a tough experience. Flinching is considered a sign of weakness. Afterwards, the young men become Morin, warriors who guard the community, herd cattle, and live together for years as they prepare for adulthood. For girls, the transition into womanhood has traditionally been marked by ceremonies as well, though many communities today are rethinking old practices. Education and advocacy programs led by Maasai women themselves are helping change the narrative, empowering girls to go to school, choose their own paths, and still remain proud of their heritage. Every song, every ceremony, every color in Maasai culture tells a story, a living dialogue between the past and the present. But here's the thing most tourists never see. Let's talk about the myths, because when it comes to the Maasai, there are plenty of them floating around. Thanks to movies, safari brochures, and the occasional over-enthusiastic travel influencer, the world has built a picture of the Maasai that's partly true and partly, well, let's just say creative fiction. Myth number 1. The Maasai are frozen in time. Many people imagine them living exactly as they did hundreds of years ago. Spears in hand, no tech, no modern influence. The truth? The Maasai have mastered the art of adaptation. Yes, they still cherish tradition, but they're not stuck in the past. Many Maasai today go to school, use smartphones, and even have Instagram accounts where they share snippets of daily life. You'll find Maasai University graduates, entrepreneurs, and leaders shaping modern Kenya and Tanzania while proudly wearing their red shuka. Tradition hasn't disappeared, it has simply evolved. Myth number 2. The ceremonies are just for tourists. Now, this one is tricky because, yes, tourists do get to watch certain cultural dances and rituals, but those displays are often simplified versions of much deeper traditions. For the Maasai, ceremonies like the adumu, the jumping dance, or rites of passage carry profound meaning. They're not performances, they're sacred moments that connect individuals to their community, ancestors, and to Enkai, their god. When you see the Maasai jump, it's not a show. It's a celebration of life, strength, and unity. Myth number 3. Every Maasai lives in a mud hut in the middle of nowhere. Not anymore. Traditional homes, called nkangs, are still common, built from mud, sticks, and cow dung, but modern life has changed the landscape. Many Maasai families now live in towns, run shops, or work in cities, often returning home from major ceremonies. Others have built brick or iron-roofed houses near roads or markets. You might still find a few nkangs on the savannah, but don't be surprised to see a solar panel charging a phone right next to one. And then there's myth number 4. Maasai women have no rights. That couldn't be further from the truth. Yes, traditionally, Maasai society is patriarchal. Men are warriors and decision makers, but women have always held quiet power in family and cultural life. They're the creators of the community's stunning beadwork, the caretakers of children, and often the heartbeat of the home. In recent years, Maasai women have become educators, activists, and business owners, pushing for girls' education and challenging outdated customs from within. And yes, Maasai women are powerful. And no, they're not just there to braid beads all day. So, the next time you see a glossy travel photo of the Maasai, remember, it's only one piece of the puzzle. Behind that snapshot is a vibrant, evolving people balancing pride in their heritage with the realities of modern life. Which of these myths surprised you the most? Comment below. I'd love to hear what changed your perspective. Tourism has become one of the biggest influences on Maasai life today, a double-edged sword that brings both opportunity and challenge. On one hand, it has opened doors that were once closed. Visitors from around the world are fascinated by Maasai culture, and that curiosity has created new income streams for communities living near national parks and reserves. Maasai men and women now guide safaris, sell handcrafted jewelry, or perform traditional dances for guests. For many, this tourism money supports education, healthcare, and food security, things that are often hard to come by in remote areas. But here's where it gets complicated. The very culture that sustains the Maasai is also what's being packaged and sold. Anthropologists call it heritage commodification, basically turning cultural identity into a product for tourists to consume. Some Maasai men, for instance, move to tourist destinations like Zanzibar or Nairobi, wearing their traditional attire not as a daily norm, but as a way to attract visitors or sell souvenirs. It's a survival strategy, using their heritage to earn a living in a world that values the exotic. You might think those smiles and dances are just for the camera, but there's much more going on behind the scenes. Many of these performances come from genuine pride, but there's also the quiet tension of trying to maintain authenticity while meeting tourist expectations. When a traveler hands over a few dollars for a photo, it can feel like appreciation, but it can also unintentionally reinforce a one-dimensional image of who the Maasai are. And here's the tricky part that even many tourists don't realize. Every dance, every photograph, every handcrafted necklace represents a balancing act between preserving identity and surviving in a modern economy. The Maasai are not simply performers in someone else's adventure, they are active participants, negotiating the fine line between tradition and transformation. Here's the part that most tourists never see: the real, everyday life of the Maasai, beyond the dance circles and colorful markets. Beneath the beauty of their culture lies a community navigating modern challenges that are as real as they come. Land, for instance, has become one of the biggest struggles. Traditionally, the Maasai lived as semi-nomadic herders, moving their cattle freely across wide-open plains. But over time, government policies, conservation zones, and private developments have reduced their grazing land. Many Maasai families now find themselves competing for space, often forced to move farther or adapt to farming, something that wasn't part of their traditional way of life. Imagine having to change the rhythm your ancestors followed for centuries. It's not easy, but they do it with remarkable resilience. Education is another frontier of change. In many villages, you'll now find young Maasai children walking miles to school, dressed in a mix of red shuka and school uniforms. Some of their parents never had that chance, but they've realized that education doesn't erase culture, it strengthens it. There's a growing belief that knowledge, both traditional and modern, is the key to preserving their identity in a rapidly changing world. Then there's health. Access to clinics and modern medicine is still limited in many rural areas, so traditional herbal remedies are often used alongside modern treatments. Yet even here, you'll find innovation. Maasai youth volunteering in health programs, women leading maternal care initiatives, and communities working with NGOs to bridge the gap. Through it all, their pride in being Maasai never fades. Whether herding cattle under the scorching sun or running small businesses in town, they carry their identity like a badge of honor. I once heard a young Maasai man say, "We are not losing our culture, we are learning to carry it differently." And that says it all. The Maasai are not relics of the past, but a living people constantly redefining what it means to belong. Now, here comes the fact I promised at the beginning. Did you know that some Maasai warriors have become wildlife rangers, using their ancestral tracking skills to protect the very animals they once hunted? It's a full circle story, a symbol of transformation, showing that the Maasai's greatest strength isn't just tradition, it's their ability to evolve without losing themselves. All right, let's wrap this up with some key takeaways, especially for those who plan to visit Maasai communities one day. First, respect traditions. It sounds simple, but it's often overlooked. Always ask before taking photos or videos. For the Maasai, some cultural expressions have deep spiritual meaning. Not everything is meant for the camera. A simple, polite request goes a long way. It shows that you see them as people, not just subjects for your travel reel. Second, support sustainable projects. Instead of buying mass-produced souvenirs at city markets, consider buying directly from Maasai women's cooperatives or community-run shops. Those bead necklaces and handmade sandals, they often help pay for children's school fees or local health care. When you buy directly from the source, you're not just taking home a souvenir, you're investing in a story of empowerment. Third, learn beyond the stereotypes. The Maasai are not just warriors, herders, or dancers. They're teachers, activists, entrepreneurs, and modern change makers. So before you believe everything you see on a postcard, dig a little deeper. Read their stories, visit cultural centers, and most importantly, listen.
So, next time you see that iconic Maasai jump in a photo or video, remember, there's a story much bigger than a single frame. It's the story of a people balancing pride and progress, culture and change. And that's the truth most tourists never see. And hey, if this changed how you see the Maasai, drop a comment below and tell me what surprised you most. Who knows, your perspective might just inspire someone else to travel a little more mindfully. If you enjoyed diving into the real Maasai story, go ahead and hit that like button, share this video with friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating insights into African cultures. I'd also love to hear from you. Which Maasai myth did you believe before watching this? Drop your answer in the comments below and let's start a conversation. And don't go too far. Next time, we'll explore another African tribe that's equally fascinating but rarely understood, uncovering traditions, myths, and truths that tourists almost never see. Trust me, you won't want to miss it.